What did you think of Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran? I see we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity, and a second good step would be we got to do something about The View. I really believe that. I mean, could you just
it's huge in Iran, though.
My district in the great state of Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. As I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Rosedale plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. That's the progress, because, like, a lot of white people had to vote for me. A lot.
So wait,
I don't even ever want to hear Whoopi Goldberg's conversation about how it's worse to be black in America right now. That's a bit far. And my father, who's 75 years old, he was a man that was in the French quarters that had to go get a sandwich to the back door of the building. And his son is now a United States congressman in a white majority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America. That's America. So let's celebrate that.
Do we say that both parties are equally guilty? Because when I think about January 6th and pardoning all the people who were involved in that insurrection, or whatever you want to call it.
Insurrection? How do you have insurrection with no guns, though, Bill? That's like having. That's like making coffee.
They
with
brought
beans.
Tons of guns. It's just
there's 400 guns currently in 40 million guns currently in circulation. One person was killed that day. It was Ashley Babbitt. She was a white unarmed person that was killed by a black Capitol police officer. Imagine if that had been the other way around. When I think of an insurrection as a war fighter, somebody that has seen some real nasty stuff, when I think about that. What people have to understand is that the summer of love leading up to that was something else. We were talking about $2 billion in damage. 200 cities had to go under curfew. 22 people lost their lives. And I understand that January 6th was a Democrats' white rhino, and they were going to run in that. They're going to win the next election. And Donald Trump is still president, last I checked.
Okay, take the politics out of it. I mean, look, they were there for a specific reason, and they attacked the Capitol, a specific place, on a specific day, at a specific moment, which was the exact moment that the votes were being counted, which to me makes it even worse. But okay, let's just say they were there because they were, I don't know, furious about the price of eggs. No politics. They were just like, Congress has not done anything about the goddamn price of eggs, and we're going to, I don't care how many cops get hurt, we're going to, would it be any different?
Well, again, we were talking about...
Is it just okay because it was defending Trump?
This wasn't necessarily about defending Trump.
Okay, but what if it was what if it was over 100 cops getting hurt and people taking over a building over the price?
Now you're talking about the summer of love.
Over the price of eggs.
Now you're talking about the summer of love. No. That's when people were actually really getting hurt. Well, that's when 22 people died. That's when we watched mayhem in our streets. And even just a couple of weeks ago here in L.A., we were watching people throw pieces of concrete at law enforcement officers and cars burning in the street in our cities. We cannot have that anywhere.
Okay. Well, fuck up the execution, just like they did with the parade. Like, do I think it was a good idea to have a parade? No, but if you're going to do it, if you're going to have a vaguely fascist parade, do it right.
I want to say something about the parade to offer another opinion from our side of this whole thing, and that is it was the 250th birthday of our United States Army. Right. As I said, thank you very much. And somebody that served this nation as an Apache pilot, again, my brother and sister going to West Point, 6 years of military service, mostly in the Army. My great-great-grandfather fought in the Civil War. And you know what I saw? I saw the president salute the Corps of Cadets as they walked past him. I watched him salute the 75th Ranger Regiment as they walked past him. I sat there and watched the fireworks behind the Washington Monument. And you know what I thought? Damn, that's absolutely outstanding. And it's far better than Joe Biden checking his watch when bodies were being returned to Dover.
Okay, wait a minute.
This is hold on. This is a contrast that we were talking about and why you lost. Because we are talking about a man that's talking about patriotism. And in parades like that, when I was growing up, I served. Because I used to go to these parades and watch my dad participate in them. I saw the Black Hawks landing. I visited my sister at West Point. I said, by God, I want to serve this country too. And so the dichotomy of what we're seeing with President Trump and his patriotism, saluting the flag, actually making an effort. And whether you like it or agree with the execution, the effort is there. That's all we want to see.
Execution does matter. First of all, thank you for your service.
God,
Bill,
Bill,
I mean that. I say that to everybody. Always have for 22 years.
I've watched you for 20 years. Yes,
you have. Absolutely.
Thank
I'm
you
always
very much.
behind the military, and
you have that.
Nobody compares to the military. Everybody says that they're brave. They're brave. Oh, you're so brave. Military. That's who's brave, and cops and firefighters and people like that. But mostly the military. Was the fact that he had an assassination attempt and survived it. And look, I've heard idiots on the left say to me, Bill, you know that was staged.
Yeah, that wasn't staged.
No, it was not staged.
Staged, yeah.
That would be ridiculous because the guy behind him got shot.
Right.
And we don't really care about that guy anymore. But anyway, they did try to shoot him, and he did survive it. And I know a lot of Republicans think that is determinative. They think God saved him, and therefore he cannot make a wrong move. Is that what you believe?
Well, it wasn't just that. It's just you guys had a really bad candidate in Kamala Harris. You know, people also have to understand is that was one of the most undemocratic things I've ever seen. What you did was you took Joe Biden, you put him in a room, put on Golden Girls, gave him some chocolate chip ice cream, and then by the time he walked out, he was no longer running for president, and he had no idea what was going on. So when you combine that with a candidate that not a single Democrat voted for in that primary, it creates a disaster. That's another big reason why President Trump won, is because the Democrat Party lost faith in the American people because they broke the process in order to get the right candidate to actually run for president.
But I want to come back to this point you made about the cult of personality, because I think you're right. When Donald Trump was the most against TikTok, and I can't stand the guy, but I thought he's right about that. TikTok is Chinese communist. I don't like it. He was against it. And every MAGA guy I knew was against it. Then he met with a TikTok billionaire. He's all for TikTok. And they're all for it now. It's like, come on, they're still Chinese communists. But he will win. Whichever side he chooses, his base will come along with him.
This is Mosu. He's also in charge. We have a leader in our party. Who's the leader in your party?
Well, you just said it was bad that the Democrats like Nancy Pelosi for years.
Right now, but not for 20 years. So we have somebody that is absolutely our leader of the party.
Right.
It is Donald Trump, but we are actually behind him. Who is your leader? Is it going to be Bernie Sanders? Is it going to be AOC? Is it going to be Jasmine Crockett? Are you kidding me?
Anybody who gets in the way of the dear leader. I remember when Roger Ailes and Fox News took him on. He crushed them. I remember when Elon Musk a few weeks ago took him on. Trump crushed them. So whatever Trump does, I guess if I was advising him as a political advisor, I'd say, sir, whatever you do, they're going to be with you. So figure out what the right thing to do is. In that sense, he's free. It's only about 35% of the country, but it's about 65% of the Republican Party. They will do anything the dear leader says, and that's terrifying. But for Trump, it ought to give him some space to be able to do or not do what he thinks is best.
You know,